Greetings from MythBearCo. Please enjoy our story vodcast. Chapter 1. The Disturbing Call. It was an ordinary night for Detective James Parker as he neared the end of his shift. He had been looking forward to grabbing a movie after work, eager to unwind after a long day of chasing leads and solving crimes. But just as he was about to clock out, a call came in. A call that would shatter the tranquility of the evening and plunge him into the depths of darkness. Rushing through the dimly lit streets, Parker's mind raced with anticipation. He wondered what new mystery awaited him, what twisted tale of deception and intrigue he would unravel next. Little did he know, this case would be unlike any he had encountered before. Arriving at the scene, Parker's heart sank at the sight that greeted him. A lifeless body lay sprawled across the floor in the opulent apartment, a grim reminder of the fragility of life. The room was bathed in an eerie glow cast by the flickering candlelight, adding to the sense of foreboding that hung heavy in the air. As Parker's gaze swept over the scene, he couldn't help but notice the meticulous care with which the killer had staged the crime. The victim's body lay on the floor, as if peacefully asleep, covered by a blanket that seemed out of place in the midst of such violence. It was a stark contrast to the brutality of the wounds that marred the victim's flesh. Approaching the crime scene cautiously, Parker felt a chill run down his spine as he took in the sight before him. The victim's body bore the marks of the killer's savagery, 9 puncture wounds, each one a testament to the agony the victim must have endured in her final moments. It was a scene of unimaginable horror, one that would haunt Parker's dreams for nights to come. But as Parker's eyes lingered on the victim's face, recognition dawned upon him. It was Dr. Emily Dawson, the well-known psychologist in the community, a woman respected and admired by all who knew her. The shock of seeing her lifeless form sent a chill down Parker's spine, filling him with a sense of unease, unlike anything he had ever experienced before. His initial thoughts were consumed by disbelief. Dr. Dawson was known for her kindness and compassion, her unwavering dedication to helping others overcome their inner demons. It seemed inconceivable that someone would want to harm her in such a brutal manner. As Parker grappled with the reality of the situation, he knew that this case would be unlike any he had encountered before. The darkness seemed to close in around him, threatening to consume everything he held dear. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of a journey into the heart of darkness, one that would test his resolve and challenge everything he thought he knew about the nature of evil. Chapter 2. Unveiling the crime scene. As Detective James Parker delved deeper into Dr. Dawson's background, he knew he needed to retrace her steps leading up to the night of her murder. Arriving back at the crime scene, Parker's eyes scanned the room, taking in every detail with renewed intensity. He needed to uncover any clues that might shed light on the events leading up to Dr. Dawson's death. The apartment was eerily quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the overhead lights. Parker's gaze fell upon the tarot card still lying at the center of the room, its ominous presence casting a shadow over the entire scene. He couldn't shake the feeling that the card held the key to unlocking the mystery of Dr. Dawson's murder. Moving closer to the card, Parker noticed something he had missed before, a faint smudge of ink on the back of the card, as if someone had hastily written a message and then tried to erase it. His curiosity piqued, Parker carefully retrieved the card, hoping to uncover any hidden messages that might provide a clue to the killer's identity. But before he could examine the card further, Parker's attention was drawn to the medical examiner who had just arrived at the scene. The ME's report would be crucial in piecing together the events that had led to Dr. Dawson's untimely demise. After a thorough examination of the body, the ME approached Parker with a grim expression. "Detective, you need to see this," he said, gesturing toward the floor where Dr. Dawson's lifeless form lay. Parker's stomach churned as he followed the me towards the floor, bracing himself for what he was about to see. The puncture wounds on Dr. Dawson's body were deeper than initially thought, each one a testament to the violence that had been inflicted upon her. But it wasn't until the me pointed out a small puncture wound on Dr. Dawson's neck that Parker's blood ran cold. This wound wasn't caused by the killer's blade, the me explained. It appears to be the result of a syringe filled with a powerful sedative. Parker's mind raced as he processed the implications of the me's findings. The killer hadn't just murdered Dr. Dawson, they had incapacitated her, first ensuring she was unable to defend herself against the onslaught of violence that followed. The me continued, based on the initial findings, it appears that Dr. Dawson was still alive. When the killer punctured the holes throughout her body, the sedative would have frozen her movements, but she would have been conscious enough to feel the torture inflicted upon her. Before leaving, the me added, I'll provide the detailed report once the body is back at the coroner's office. But as you can see, Detective Dr. Dawson was left to death after killer punctured her body. It will take several hours before the last breath. As Parker pondered the significance of the new evidence, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were one step closer to uncovering the truth. But with each new revelation, he also realized that the killer was far more cunning and calculating than he had ever imagined. And as he prepared to delve deeper into the investigation, Parker knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger. Chapter 3: Unraveling the Dual Persona. As Detective James Parker continued to unravel the mystery surrounding Dr. Emily Dawson's murder, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the esteemed psychologist than met the eye. Determined to uncover the truth, he decided to retrace her steps in the days leading up to her death, hoping to shed light on the enigmatic circumstances surrounding her demise. Returning to his office, Parker carefully examined the tarot card found at the crime scene once more. As he turned it over, his eyes fell upon a faint smudge of ink on the back, a hidden message left by the killer. With a sense of urgency, Parker retrieved his magnifying glass and began deciphering the cryptic message etched into the card. After several minutes of intense scrutiny, the message began to take shape before his eyes. It read, "Beware the facade of virtue, for behind lies the true nature of the beast." The words sent a chill down Parker's spine, hinting at the darkness that lurked beneath Dr. Dawson's seemingly benevolent exterior. Determined to uncover the truth, Parker delved deeper into Dr. Dawson's background, scouring through her personal and professional life for any clues that might shed light on her dual persona. What he discovered left him reeling. The esteemed psychologist was not the paragon of virtue she had been made out to be. In fact, she had been leading a double life, one that few were privy to. Behind closed doors, Dr. Dawson had been involved in illicit activities, using her position of authority to exploit and manipulate those around her. Her supposed acts of kindness were nothing more than a facade, concealing a dark and sinister truth that threatened to unravel everything Parker thought he knew about the case. As Parker pieced together the fragments of Dr. Dawson's secret life, he realized that her murder was not a random act of violence, but a calculated strike orchestrated by someone who knew her true nature all too well. The tarot card left at the scene was not just a taunt, it was a warning, a grim reminder of the consequences of deception and betrayal. Through interviews with Dr. Dawson's colleagues and acquaintances, Parker unearthed a web of deceit that stretched far beyond what he had imagined. He discovered evidence that painted a stark contrast to the image of the virtuous psychologist portrayed to the public. With each revelation, Parker's determination to bring Dr. Dawson's killer to justice only grew stronger. But as he delved deeper into the tangled web of lies and deceit, he knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger. The true identity of the killer remained elusive, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike again. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city streets, Parker vowed to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. For in the heart of darkness lies the key to unlocking the secrets that lay buried beneath the surface, a truth that would ultimately lead him to the doorstep of the killer. Chapter 4: The Web of Deception. As Detective James Parker delved deeper into the dark underbelly of Dr. Emily Dawson's double life, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was treading on dangerous ground. The revelations of her deceit had rocked him to his core, challenging everything he thought he knew about the esteemed psychologist. But with each new discovery, Parker became more determined than ever to unravel the tangled web of lies that had led to her untimely demise. Turning his attention to Dr. Dawson's professional contacts, Parker began to uncover a series of suspicious transactions and clandestine meetings that hinted at a darker side to her practice. Digging deeper, he unearthed evidence of confidential patient records being sold to the highest bidder, as well as rumors of unethical experiments conducted behind closed doors. As Parker sifted through the mountain of evidence, he realized that Dr. Dawson's involvement in illegal activities ran far deeper than he had initially suspected. It seemed that she had built an empire of deceit, using her position of authority to exploit and manipulate those around her for her own gain. But amidst the chaos of Dr. Dawson's secret life, Parker found a glimmer of hope, a lead that promised to bring him one step closer to uncovering the truth behind her murder. A cryptic message left by the killer on the tarot card found at the crime scene had sparked his curiosity, and he was determined to crack the code and uncover its hidden meaning. With the help of his trusted colleague and friend, Detective Alex Bennett, who known for his exceptional skills in code breaking, Bennett's expertise proved invaluable as they painstakingly pieced together the puzzle. They began to decipher the cryptic message, poring over every detail in search of clues that might lead them to the identity of the killer. Hours turned into days as they painstakingly pieced together the puzzle, following a trail of breadcrumbs that led them deeper into the heart of darkness. And then, finally, a breakthrough. Hidden within the message was a series of numbers, a set of coordinates that pointed to a remote location on the outskirts of town. With a sense of urgency, Parker and Bennett set out to investigate, knowing that they were on the brink of a major breakthrough in the case. Arriving at the coordinates, Parker's heart raced as he surveyed the desolate landscape before him. It was a place shrouded in mystery, a sanctuary for those who wished to remain hidden from the prying eyes of society. And as he delved deeper into the depths of the unknown, Parker knew that he was about to uncover secrets that would change everything he thought he knew about Dr. Emily Dawson's double life. Chapter 5: Into the Shadows. As Detective James Parker and Detective Alex Bennett stood at the desolate coordinates indicated by the cryptic message, a sense of anticipation hung heavy in the air. The barren landscape stretched out before them, devoid of any signs of life. Yet, Parker couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of a major breakthrough in the case. With cautious steps, the detectives ventured deeper into the shadows of the unknown, their senses heightened as they scanned their surroundings for any signs of danger. The eerie silence of the deserted landscape only served to amplify the tension that crackled in the air as they pressed on toward their destination. Suddenly, a faint glimmer of light caught Parker's eye, a small cabin nestled among the trees, its windows shrouded in darkness. Instinctively, he motioned for Bennett to follow as they approached the structure with caution, unsure of what awaited them inside. As they entered the cabin, a musty scent filled their nostrils, mingling with the oppressive stillness of the air. The interior was dimly lit, casting long shadows that danced across the walls like specters in the night. Parker's hand tightened around the grip of his gun, his senses on high alert as they ventured further into the unknown. But as they explored the cabin, they found no trace of the killer or any evidence that might lead them closer to solving the case. It was as if the structure itself was a mere decoy, a breadcrumb left behind to lure them into the depths of the unknown. Frustration gnawed at Parker's insides as he realized that they had hit a dead end. The trail had gone cold, leaving them no closer to uncovering the truth behind Dr. Emily Dawson's murder. But Parker refused to give up hope, not now, not when they were so close to unraveling the mystery once and for all. With determination burning in his eyes, Parker turned to Bennett and uttered a single word: "We're not done yet." And as they left the cabin behind, the shadows seemed to whisper secrets of their own, promising that the truth was still out there, waiting to be discovered. As they returned to the bustling streets of the city, Parker knew that their journey was far from over. The killer may have eluded them for now, but they would not rest until justice was served and Dr. Dawson's killer was brought to justice. Chapter 6: Unraveling the Web. As detectives James Parker and Alex Bennett delved deeper into the investigation, they found themselves ensnared in a web of deceit spun by the victim's double life. The revelation of Dr. Emily Dawson's hidden secrets had sent shockwaves through the precinct, shaking the foundations of their case. Amidst the chaos, Parker and Bennett tirelessly sifted through the evidence, determined to uncover the truth. It was during one late-night brainstorming session that Parker stumbled upon a crucial clue: a series of encrypted emails sent from Dr. Dawson's personal account. With Bennett's expertise in decryption, they managed to unlock the messages, revealing a web of clandestine communications between Dr. Dawson and an unknown individual. The exchanges hinted at a dark conspiracy, one that reached far beyond the confines of the victim's double life. The cryptic nature of the emails raised red flags for Parker and Bennett, signaling that there was more to the case than initially met the eye. Each message provided a piece of the puzzle, shedding light on Dr. Dawson's motives, her relationships, and ultimately, her connection to the killer. Their discovery sent a shiver down Parker's spine. The messages painted a picture of a woman leading a double life, a respected psychologist by day, but something far more sinister by night. The revelations opened up a new avenue of investigation, one that promised to uncover the truth behind Dr. Dawson's murder. Chapter 7: The Shadows Close In. As Parker and Bennett continued to dissect the cryptic emails, a pattern began to emerge, a pattern that led them down a dark and winding path. The messages hinted at a clandestine relationship between Dr. Dawson and an unknown individual, one that seemed to have sinister undertones. Determined to uncover the truth, Parker and Bennett followed the breadcrumbs left behind in the emails, leading them to a discarded cell phone found near the crime scene. Upon closer inspection, they discovered a series of incriminating text messages exchanged between Dr. Dawson and the mysterious sender. The messages painted a chilling picture of betrayal and deceit, revealing the true extent of Dr. Dawson's double life and the identity of her killer. With renewed determination, Parker and Bennett pursued the lead with unwavering resolve, knowing that their quest for justice was far from over. Their investigation eventually led them to a rundown apartment on the outskirts of town, where they found the killer hiding in plain sight. With the evidence stacked against him, the killer adamantly denied his involvement, but Parker and Bennett were relentless in presenting the damning evidence that linked him to the crime. Chapter 8: The Final Confrontation. With the killer behind bars, detectives James Parker and Alex Bennett breathed a sigh of relief, believing that justice had finally been served. But their victory was short-lived, as they soon received a chilling message from the incarcerated killer, a taunting note that hinted at a far more sinister truth. The note arrived in the form of a cryptic message, scrawled hastily on a torn piece of paper. As Parker and Bennett read the words, a chill ran down their spines. The killer's message was clear: They had underestimated him, and he had outsmarted them at every turn. "Fools," the note read, in jagged, angry letters. "You think you've won, but you're just pawns in my game. I've been pulling the strings all along, and you've fallen right into my trap. Enjoy your hollow victory while it lasts, because I'll be watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again." As Parker and Bennett stared at the note, a sense of dread washed over them. Despite their best efforts, they had been outmaneuvered by a cunning adversary, one who reveled in their incompetence and reveled in their downfall. But amidst the despair, a spark of determination flickered to life within Parker and Bennett's hearts. They refused to be beaten, refused to let the killer's taunts break their resolve. With renewed determination, they vowed to continue the fight for justice, no matter the cost. The echoes of the killer's words lingered in their minds, a constant reminder of the danger that still lurked in the shadows. But Parker and Bennett were undeterred. They would not rest until the true mastermind behind Dr. Emily Dawson's murder was brought to justice, and the streets were safe once more.